What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mediocre Disc Golf Podcast, the average podcast for the average disc golfer. As always, I'm Evan Amstutz, joined by someone who's been on day 3 of camping outside of Walmart for Black Friday, Dan Hesser. We're happy you could join us. Dan, how are you doing today?
Your intros, man, they're hilarious. Um, I'm doing good. How are you, bro?
Doing pretty well. Coming off a long weekend of playing the Valdosta Open.
How was it?
Cold, windy, really wooded, but a lot of fun.
Yeah. Last time I played that course, let's see. I played it last year with you, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It was a learning experience, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Last year was a learning experience for me as well.
So what'd you learn?
That I need to learn how to control skip and not throw a driver at everything. And it paid off because this year I shot 13 over for the entire weekend. And last year I shot 11 over in one round. And this year I also played from the longest possible tees, which add 2,000 feet of distance.
Nice. Improvement.
So,
Nice. That course is incredibly wooded.
Yes.
Like, disgustingly so. We walk up to some of those and you're like, I don't know if there's a line here.
And the funny thing is, after round 1, because now it gets dark at like 5 o'clock, we got home, ate dinner, and then we're like, anybody want to go play a glow round? Just straight 18? And I think across the board, all of us played better during the glow round because there's no trees to be intimidated by when it's pitch black. You just huck the disc and see what happens.
You played a glow round at the same course?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was funny because my wife was like, don't stay out too late, because she remembered the time where I was out until like 3 o'clock in the morning playing glow and how that resulted for my next tournament round. I was like, don't worry, we're going to be home by 9. We are going to play a glow round and be home by 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's crazy, that dark that quickly here.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just talking with a friend of mine. So on our drive back to Florida, we're going to be driving into the darkness instead of driving away from the darkness. So
running away from it.
Well, so on the way here from Florida to Arizona, you're chasing daylight, so you can have a lot longer days, and on the way back, we're going to have a lot shorter days because of the way the sun works. But
this has been a geography lesson with Dan Hesser.
Come back next time. We'll talk about tides and the moon, I guess. That makes sense.
I like how almost none of those are geography.
I mean, the way the sun orbits, but so I played a doubles tournament this weekend. It was a best shot doubles. Just we added a bunch of extra holes to the course, and I was partner with a lefty, which works pretty well for me throwing a lot of sidearms and him throwing a lot of left shots.
Left-hand and backhands.
Both had the,
wide variety of shots you guys had in your arsenal.
So many flexes. It was fun.
Like guys that you run into that backhand right-handed and forehand left-handed. It's like, I don't exactly understand what you're accomplishing, but to each their own.
Yeah, good job. But no, so they added like extra $2,000 and it wasn't a sanctioned tournament.
Nice.
So the winner walked out with like $1,100 or something like that, $1,200. And then it was kind of filtered down, and it was super, super fun. We put a lot of work into the course prior to everybody getting there, and ended up playing. We shot 4 down the first round, which, let me just tell you, isn't great.
Okay.
And then we shot 13 down the second round. So, which is a little bit better. I figured out how to putt the second round. That was the big game changer there.
That's good.
First round. Why is it sometimes you just have like this mental block, man? where like you know how to putt, just everything works, right? And then at sometimes you're like, what do my hands do? Like how do you do this again? And like you just forget everything that you've just been practicing and training and blah 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 blah, and like all those hours in the backyard just are gone. Like why does that happen?
So
It is the most annoying thing.
I had that at Valdosta for it was just one hole. Luckily, my putting kind of saved me during that tournament, which is really what you need at that course. But
Yeah.
I was 100% inside the circle in round two, except for one putt where it was like 18 feet maybe. And for some reason, I
Mm-hmm.
got it in my head, and all I could think about was the next tee is one of the toughest tee shots on the course, and it's right next to the basket. And I was just picturing the group in front of us teeing off and smacking a tree. And one of the guys in the group in front of us was not having a good day, and he was just screaming and having a good time.
Mm.
Um,
Bless his heart.
so for some reason, that's all I could think about. And instead of thinking about making my putt, I just absolutely caged it. Like might have had a single rotation on the putt. But it's just amazing how something that you think is just muscle memory at this point, if you're not
Mm-hmm.
fully concentrated. And like I said, I had a great putting day. Like I was hitting from 40 and in, I was pretty much cashing.
Mm-hmm.
And that one putt, I was just completely forgot what I was doing.
Yeah. It's like Ricky at Worlds, that one putt
Mhm.
from like 5 feet airball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's just annoying, man. It's really annoying to just never to just have those off days.
Yeah,
But
that's something I kind of wanted to get into with this episode because this week don't have a guest. Hard to schedule
nope.
people on the week of Thanksgiving, believe it or not. Um, but just something that I noticed because I caddied for our uh, our Twitter admin Matt Hoffman, and he was playing in the novice division. So I
Okay.
got to watch every morning almost a full round of novice and like work with Matt
Mm.
on his approach and then go play advanced. And it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of neat to see the difference in the approach of the novice player versus a advanced player and like the different things in the group. Because I thought it'd be like, no offense to novice players, but it'd be like a huge difference in skill, especially on that course.
Mm-hmm.
Advanced
Yeah.
players are better, especially around the putting green. I think that's where the biggest difference is.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more of the mental attitude and the approach to how they look at shots that I thought
Yeah.
was the most interesting difference. So, for example, there's a par four where just outside of circle one, short of the basket, the fairway starts sloping down towards the basket and away from the player.
Okay.
And I walk up to that and I think mentally, keep that in mind. You don't have to throw it all the way to the basket. Everything you throw is
No,
going to
hit the thing, get it short, let it scoot up a little bit, make the putt, and move on.
exactly. So one day I had to scramble to save par, but I had like a little zone forehand into the basket, and I just did exactly that. I landed it short and kind of skipped it up, had a 15 footer. The
Yep.
day prior, I was in a really bad spot, but I remembered, okay, that slope is there. I don't, I can pick a disc that I know will eventually get there. I don't have to pick a
Mm-hmm.
disc that I have to like really shape to land exactly 300
Mm-hmm.
feet. And I was able to get the birdie because of not trying to do too much with it and letting the disc do the work. What I saw when the novice players went through that hole every day, they would all go a mile long because they were all trying to hit 300 feet exactly or however far out they were, they would range it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how far they were throwing, which I
Hmm.
thought was interesting. And that's something that I learned a lot with ball golf is you don't play to the pin, you play based on what the green gives you. So is
Mm-hmm.
that something that like you had to learn or it took time for you to learn, or is that
So I'll tell you, in my journey with disc
Mhm,
golf, sometimes, so when I first started playing, I felt like I had to park every
mhm,
single hole because my putting wasn't
right?
very good. Um, Now putting is probably one of the stronger points in my game. So if all I have to do is really give myself a putt and I'm
Hmm.
fine. Um, so prior to that, if I wasn't within like 10 feet, I was probably not going to make the putt. So I had to park
Hmm.
things. So I was going for the pin.
Hmm.
And as my putting got better, my miss, where I could just put the disc or just land the disc somewhere, right,
Hmm.
got larger and larger and larger and larger and larger, right? So, like, now if I'm within probably 30 feet of the basket, I'm going to give it a really good run, probably, gonna scare the basket if not make it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I'm just so much more confident now from 30, 45 feet than I was a year ago, really. You
Yeah,
know?
that's something I talked to one of our friends on the drive home because he's one of the best putters that I know, and he was having a tough time during the tournament, and he's like,
Shout out. What's the names? What's the names?
"Shout out
Who
Corey
is it?
Spate."
Corey Spate. Okay.
Um, I mean, we were playing Jomez in the backyard, and he was just canning everything from everywhere, and yeah,
Annoying.
it is annoying when you're,
Super.
especially when you're playing against him, and you're like, "Oh, I've got him. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
he's Corey. He's gonna make this putt." Like, uh, but he was like, "Yeah, I just had no confidence walking up to these shots because they're tough and wooded, and like I just didn't trust that I'd get the right distances." I was like, "What do you mean you wouldn't get the right distances? You just needed to get within 40 feet." He's like, "What do you mean I need to get within 40 feet?" It's like, you're you're an insane putter, dude. I've seen you hit a
Yeah.
150-foot jump shot. Like you can you don't need to be under the basket to make birdie. You just need to be within 40 feet. He's like, "Yeah,
Hmm.
I get that for my putting, but I don't understand what that has to do with the throw." It's like, well, if I
Your miss is so much bigger,
yeah,
bro.
well,
Like you don't have to like when you were talking about earlier with that one with the, let's say the basket's on a ridge, right? And slopes down, slope up at it. Just give yourself a putt. Like
mhm.
what Gannon said, what, 2 episodes ago, in his first one is a lot of times I just play to give myself a putt, and that's all you need, man.
Yeah. And what I was telling him was when I got better at putting, that made my up shots and my approach shots a lot better because I wasn't as tense
Mm-hmm.
going up to the shot. I didn't feel the pressure to get it under the basket. I
Yep.
just going from a 20-foot diameter circle around the basket, and that's the only spot you're confident, to an 80-foot diameter circle around the basket. That's a huge difference in where you feel confident.
Yeah, 80 feet might be. I'm probably not very confident at 80 feet, but um,
Well, I was using him for like in
oh,
his example. I mean, I watched him hit a 60-foot eagle putt to finish the tournament.
nasty.
Yeah. Uh, so it was just interesting to talk to him because he's a high level MA2 player. And again, the approach of still I need to put it under the basket. There's a lot of pressure on the shot to get it under the basket.
Yeah.
Whereas in talking again and talking to some of the pros that we've had on the podcast, that's not what their goal is. Granted, it's
No.
always amazing to put one right under the basket,
Yeah, just drop it in, but
but that's kind of icing on the cake.
yeah, I mean, so the Wallapies where I was playing
Hmm.
is a mountain course, and there's rocks and cutoffs, and it's pretty drastic elevation changes.
Hmm.
Um, like you're playing on the side of a mountain. It's the coolest thing.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of potential for rollaways. There's a lot of like just a lot of danger really everywhere when you're throwing. And if you just give yourself an opportunity, man, that's all it is don't because if a basket is literally on a rock, right? Like they drill the holes, stuck the basket in it, and
Mhm.
it's on like there's really no way to lay up to it.
Mhm.
You know, like if you try to lay up to it, you're going down, you're sliding down the mountain. It's just you have to just play for the putts. You have to just play for the putts. But
Yeah,
yeah.
there's another hole at Valdosta. I think it's hole 14. The pin position that they had it in kind of throws down to a you throw down into a bowl, and part of that bowl uh has OB that cuts into circle one. What a lot of
Hmm.
players will try to do there is again pin it, and they really press that OB. If you're decent enough putter, I mean, even you don't even have to be a great putter. You don't have to even bring the OB into play to make birdie there, because all you have to do is get close enough to the circle that you feel like you give yourself even a 10% chance at making birdie,
Yeah.
significantly better than trying to pin it to make birdie and bringing bogey in even into play. And that
Yeah.
was something that I talked with Corey and Matt about of don't like fixate on what could go wrong, but take into account what could go wrong with when you're making your disc selection. If you just absolutely cannot go right, either don't throw a backhand or throw a backhand with something that is so flippy, no matter what you do, it is not going to go, or sorry, go left. It No matter what you do, it's going it's not going to go towards danger.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's all playing percentages and playing um, you know, playing that the highest probability of success there. So yeah, I agree. I agree.
This week's episode is brought to you by The Disc Shop. One of the best days for a disc golfer is New Disc Day. With different runs of discs, the best way to get exactly what you want is by seeing what you're buying. The Disc Shop in Middleburg, Florida has the largest selection in store in Jacksonville. Want the latest from Discmania? The Disc Shop has you covered. Looking for starter kits to introduce your friends? Head on down to the Disc Shop. If you prefer the convenience of online shopping, head over to thediscshop.com for all your disc golf needs. Listeners get 10% off when using the code MDGPOD at checkout online or by mentioning the podcast while in store. Located halfway between Trinity and Ronnie Van Zant, the Disc Shop is the spot. But it was just very interesting to see the difference in not only skill level, but just approach. Because
Decision making.
if I had that knowledge when I was at the beginning of playing intermediate, I feel like I would have progressed a lot more. Like I'm thinking back to Throw Down the Mountain this year, where I was a pretty good putter, but I was trying to get everything close, and I was so worried about rollaways and all
Yeah.
these things that Throwdown
Yeah.
is notorious for. I didn't need
Yeah.
to worry about it because if
No.
it's not that brutal of a rollaway course where you're going to end up more than 40 feet away.
Right. And then, yeah.
But it part of why I wanted to bring that up is I wish I knew that earlier and kind of realized some of the things that I'm now teaching other people a lot earlier. And
Yeah.
I obviously don't know everything because I'd be a lot better of a player if I did. But just wanted to share those observations with the listeners because I thought it was really fascinating.
So what do you got coming up next? You got Chain Hawks?
Chain Hawk Open. Yep. Week
Did
after
did uh
Thanksgiving.
did Paul Macbeth ever make it in? I saw he was on the wait list. Paul
Uh,
Macbeth and Matty O were on the wait list. Notable names. I know they just got done playing the Trailblazers down there in like Eustis, Florida, or something like
mhm.
that.
Let's see.
Um,
I think they both are no longer on the wait list and did not make it into the open division.
they didn't. Oh,
Correct. Did not.
sad. Sad. I would love to see Paul McBeth.
Matteo made it in.
Oh, sick.
I do not see one Paul McBeth.
Mario.
Let's go
He
to
did
the.
not make it in.
It does not look like he made it in. Let me go.
The wait
And
list
he's no
clear.
longer on the wait list. So, I mean, he was like 36th on the wait list or something. So,
Yeah, he was. He was. It was a long shot, but it would have been sick to see him play it.
absolutely, especially because I'll be on the same courses that the pro players are on.
Yeah.
So I won't even have to like drive across town and go see them. I could just finish up my round.
Yeah.
Go watch them.
Matteo, that would be a fun interview, man. To talk to Matteo.
Are you trying to speak that into existence? Because I'm here for it.
I am. I am. Yeah. You should ping him out and say, hey bro, hook it up.
Yeah, if I run into him, you have an opportunity to talk to him, I'll definitely ask him. But yeah, Chain Hawk, super excited for that one. It's now fun because I'm getting into 1 year of playing tournaments. So like Valdosto is the first one I could compare to last year. And then
Yeah.
Chain Hawk is another really, really big one to compare to last year, especially because we'll be playing mostly the same T pads.
You played MA2 last year, right?
Yes. So the only difference
And
is we play Northside twice and Jonesville once, all longs. Last year in MA2, we played Jonesville twice, Northside once. Each course we played longs once, and then we played Jonesville from shorts the second day or the second round that we played there.
was Hatcher playing MA2 last year?
No, he's playing MA1.
Who played MA2 with you last year? Matt
Matt, and
and
he had the hot round from Jonesville long.
and KP played.
Yes, and KP. So
I was playing MA3 last year, bro.
yeah, and
Bro.
now you're all grown
Uh,
up.
oh. Yeah. By the way, Florida, trash MA1. The field of MA1, trash. Everybody who's playing MA1, or a lot of people playing MA1, they play MPO and MA1 interchangeably, and it's freaking annoying. I'm just throwing it out there. In the AM division, it is very annoying. So here, and especially through travels, I've been noticing there's a really stark, like, if you play MPO, you're playing MPO, regardless if you took cash or not. Like, otherwise, your entire club is just going to give you for it. And there's a lot of players in the MA1 division that should probably be an MPO that are just, trying to pad their stats, and it's going to be an annoying time. I already know it, but
yeah,
it's good. It challenges you.
It definitely challenges you. I think this time next year, going in the Chain Hawk, I'll hopefully be playing up in the MPO, maybe hit a silver series or two, just to challenge myself.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I always take
Here's the challenge. I was just like death.
Yeah, I mean, I moved up to MA2 early, or I guess not early. I moved up to advanced early, and I got waxed my first tournament, but I learned a lot.
Yeah, man. We tied for last, or like you beat me for last.
So yeah, I think I got you by like 1 stroke.
Yeah, boy.
But I learned by doing, and I know that I wouldn't be the player that I am now if I stuck around in MA2 longer.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't know, I don't like playing with the pressure. My last MA2 tournament, I was the highest rated person in the field, and I went in with the I need to win expectation.
I hate that, dude.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to work my way up to being like top quarter of the MA1 field, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's what I look for, is like how far do I have to scroll in the MA1 division to find my name when you sort it by rating. So that's kind of been my goal.
Yeah,
and
scroll
then
up, of course. Right, yeah.
Maybe next year I'll be doing the same thing in MPO.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I want to play Worlds, and then after that, I'm just gonna jump into MPO and be a donation for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, I think that. So we've talked about this a lot with ratings and everything like that. But if you play with a lot of lower rated players, your rating's going to be a lot lower. Just that's the name of the rating game.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get it up, you have to play with higher rated players. And
Yep.
the higher rated players don't hang out in AM divisions. And if they do, they're trash. Blast. Said it, I meant it. But like it's just it is what it is, you know?
Yeah,
So
one last topic before we get out of here. I have recently noticed that since I moved up to MA1, the floor of my ratings, like my really bad rounds, rate a lot higher.
yep,
And there's a part of me that's like, yeah, because you're getting better, which is probably partially true. I
sure.
think also I'm playing with a better field, and it takes one or two people to limbo under the expectation bar with me to help pull me up rating wise.
Higher. Yep,
Or
yep,
one MPO player when we're playing the same pads has a terrible day. They're rated
yep,
970 and they have the same round I do. That helps me out a ton. Whereas in
yep.
intermediate, I'd tie for the hot round and it would be
Nine
920
twenty, nine
rated.
thirty.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
No.
what am I
Hmm.
supposed to do here?
Nothing you can do.
Right.
You have
So,
you have to play up if you want your rating to go up.
yep, ratings are dumb.
Ratings are dumb. Well, I'm pretty excited, man. I've got 2 weeks left in Arizona, headed back to Florida.
Woo.
Um, and then I get to play a New World tournament, which
Mm-hmm.
is going to be pretty exciting. The This is a little baby C tier tournament, but man, just to get back out there and play, I should. My nephew is joining me for the
Nice.
first time ever. He is a small little pup, and he's got him into playing disc golf, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be his first tournament. He just signed up. He's like number 225 or something like that, or 235. I forget what his thing was. I was like, holy cow,
Wow.
the statistics!
There's
Like
100,000 more PDGA numbers than mine, if that's the case.
I was so excited about it, man. I was just like, this is great. I'm happy that like there's been that much. Um, yeah, he's 238.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
more than 100,000 above me.
yeah 2386. That's just crazy. That
Mm-hmm.
is just absurd, and I'm here for it. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool to see the sport grow.
Yeah.
And now we're at the
Um,
point where tournaments aren't filling because there are so many tournaments that they're running into each other.
yeah. No, I get to play against some of the old homies from Jacksonville, Zach and Griff,
Dan
and some of
Broom.
them, and Dan Broom. That's right. I haven't even seen him in forever. But yeah, and then that should just be a good time. You know, just real casual. I'm not going to take it too seriously because it's a C tier and because it's at
Oh, Mish will be
just
there.
like
I'm jealous. I wish I could go now.
yeah, Mish is going to be there. Man, I like Mish. Mish is just a cool guy. He's a
First
cool
shout out
guy.
on the pod for Mish.
Mish, you're the man. I met him, dude. I met him at the NADGT thing down in Polk County,
Hmm.
and I just walked up, and you know how you do, you just start talking to people, and it was during like right after COVID times. He was wearing a mask, so I didn't see his face for the first probably 4 tournaments.
Hmm.
I played with him, and then I saw who like his face. I was like, "Oh, hi, that's who you are." It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
But
Mish is a good time.
yeah, super fun, and he's a good player. He's a good player.
Yes, very good player.
Yeah, he won MA3 for Florida. He was Florida champion
Hmm.
for MA3 last year before, something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, man, good times. Be excited about that, and hang out with the homies, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Heck yeah. Well,
Well, good luck this weekend. Hope you kill it.
Uh,
Next weekend. Is it
yeah,
next weekend?
next
Greenhawk
weekend.
Open next weekend?
Next weekend.
Okay, yeah. Good luck.
Thank you.
And
It's like
yeah.
I didn't. Did I sign up for a tournament? Oh no. But
By
yeah.
the way, do you have any like Thanksgiving? Like, there's a lot of like stuff that happens like Black Friday or Thanksgiving Day. Like a lot of people put stuff on. You have anything like that going on?
Uh, Personally, no. Uh, Thanksgiving's always been a big like family thing for me, and
Yeah.
I always try to respect that. Like this is kind of an off week for me. I'll probably play tomorrow morning and not touch a disc again until after probably around Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
Good
just
call.
buy Christmas gifts, all that sort of stuff. Good time, good sales.
Good luck, man.
Thanks, man. Well, that wraps it up for today. You can find Dan on Instagram at dhesser and me at Evan Amsted's DG. Remember to follow the pod on Instagram at Mediocre Disc Golf Pod and on Twitter at Mediocre DG Pod. If you'd like to support us, buy our shirts on mythicdiscgolf.com and listen to us every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed the show, leave us 5-star in a review. And if you didn't, still give us 5 stars and tell us why. We know we aren't perfect because we are mediocre. Have a good night.